everybody, my name is Shruti Ramanujam and this is the final workshop of this particular workshop series that we are doing here at ManageEngine. So thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend today's workshop. This final workshop is going to be about how O365 Manager Plus helps you in monitoring the different activities and the health of your Office 365 environment. This is the agenda for today's workshop. But before we go any further, let me just do away with the usual information that we look at. If you guys have any questions over the course of today's workshop, you can always reach out to us through the chat box that you see on your screen. We have Ram from technical support and he is going to be manning the chat box throughout the entire workshop. So it's not like you have to wait for me to finish the workshop or something to get back to you. So if you have any questions, do reach out to us. Even if we are not able to address it over the course of this workshop, we will be emailing you with the answers to any questions or problems that you may have. And also, if you have any issues with the video or audio, you can always mention that too through the questions pane so that we can work on fixing it for you. And that's all. That's just all you need to know going into today's workshop. If you did not attend the previous 3 sessions of this workshop series, that is totally fine. We can send you the recordings of the workshop series pretty soon. Just drop your email addresses in the chat box and we will reach out to you immediately. So you do not have to worry about that at all. And now, why exactly is this topic relevant? As I mentioned, this session is all about monitoring your Office 365 environment. And here's why exactly we need the agenda for today. Here's exactly why we need to perform these tasks for the day. So why exactly do we need this particular session? Why exactly do we need this task for us? So although cloud workspaces have many advantages, your Office 365 is not going to be immune to any service outages. So if you have a service outage, it's going to disrupt your business process, right? In your organization. So if you have any scheduled calls with customers, if you have any online meetings, if there is a service outage, it is going to disrupt a whole lot of things to the daily functioning of your business, which is why it's crucial to monitor the health of Office 365 services. It's because you need it for business continuity. And Microsoft does help you out here. I'm not going to say that it doesn't help you out entirely. It does help you out by providing alerts about your Office 365 service outages. However, these service outage notifications are available only in the Office 365 Service Health Dashboard, the ACE-HD. And this is obviously a limitation because you are going to be having a demanding workload. And when you have a demanding workload, you do not want to be juggling between multiple consoles in order to find out all the information that you need to ensure the health of your Office 365 environment. And when you get the alerts through SHD, you will have to like go and look at the dashboard too, in addition to spending your time on the Office 365 Admin Center. So these all just add on to every single problem that you have when it comes to managing your Office 365 environment using just the native tools, which is why you need an Office 365 monitoring tool, which helps you monitor the health of all your Office 365 services. And that's why we give you O365 Manager Plus. These are all the tasks that we will be performing today. And yeah, so we are going to be looking at how you can check if emails are delivered within a fixed threshold time. We'll be looking at how you can get a summary of email traffic in your organization. We'll be seeing how you can configure alerts so that you receive real-time notifications about service outages. We will also be looking at how you can keep an eye on users' password status. This includes like their never expiring passwords, soon to expire passwords, and so on. So you are going to be easily able to check the status of users' passwords. And finally, we will be seeing how the shared mailboxes which have the highest inbound and outbound email count. in your organization. So these are all the things that we will be looking at today. So sit tight and we can jump right into today's session. And for those of you who join only now, if you have any questions, reach out to us through the chat box that you see on your screen. If you missed out on the previous sessions of this workshop series, you can always drop your email addresses in the chat box and we will send a recording of the previous sessions and today's session. Once the recording is ready, we'll send those over to you as soon as possible. So let's jump right into the very first task for the day, which has to do with email delivery time. So we are going to see how you can check if emails are delivered within a fixed threshold time. So Exchange Online is actually a very welcome change to those of us who used to use on-prem Exchange servers. And it's definitely an advantage because now that you have Exchange Online, you no longer have the burden of maintaining your own mail server. However, you still need to get insights into the health of Exchange Online so you can detect if emails are not delivered on time. So there are a number of reasons why there may be a delay in email delivery. So if you have different Outlook versions being used, there could be a delivery in there could be a delay in email delivery. There could also be some licensing issues which lead to a delay, and this is going to be a problem if an important email is not being delivered on time in your organization. You don't want someone like a higher executive in your organization to face problems with email delivery, and you need insight into how exactly emails are functioning in your organization. If you constantly see a delay in delivery time, you know that there could be a problem going on somewhere. You can go and troubleshoot to find out exactly what the problem was, which is why you need this particular report of O365 Manager Plus by your side. So let me switch to the product screen. This is the product. Let me quickly log in. And I'll show you how exactly you can monitor email delivery time using O365 Manager Plus. We've discussed several parts of this tool before. So for those of you who attended the previous sessions, I hope you recognize each of the tabs that are present in this tool. So the tab that we are looking for is the monitoring tab. Well, let's click on it. And under Exchange Online, you can monitor both its features and endpoints. And under features, there's a report called Email Timely Delivery. So let's click on the report, and this report is going to show me all the information that I need. It shows me the time at which the particular email was sent. It shows me the severity, whether it's healthy, if it's critical, if it requires attention. If there was a problem, if it does require attention, the event ID, title, and affected user count is going to be displayed here. Status, since it's healthy, is just going to say service is healthy. And this is just a test setup, but I'm sure you can see how important such a report would be in your real-time environment. And in addition to just showing you information such as this, it also shows the percentage of alerts generated for incidents advisory, which is something that requires attention, and for healthy status. This is how you can monitor the delivery of emails using O365 Manager Plus. For the next task for the day, we are going to be looking at email traffic, and more importantly, we are going to see how exactly you can get a summary of email traffic in your organization. And you need to do this because mailbox traffic reports are actually going to help you analyze your organization's mailbox traffic, because you need to keep an eye on the volume of spam entering and leaving your organization's mailboxes. You need to keep an eye on users who send and receive the most number of emails. You need to see which users receive the most number of spam and malware in your organization, because with this kind of information by your side, you can easily figure out any mail activity anomaly that is happening in your organization. Because if there are a large number of mails that are sent to or received, that are sent to or sent by a mailbox, it is a clear sign of malicious activity. And That's how always keeping an eye on mailbox traffic is going to help you out. And in addition to this, there are several use cases. Like if you work in a finance organization, you might be familiar with it. If one of your customers is claiming that they did not receive a particular email, if you are keeping an eye on your mailbox traffic reports, and if you figure out if the email was actually not delivered or if the customer is actually fibbing, you can easily do that using O365 Manager Plus. Or if you work in the education sector and a student is claiming that they did not receive their mark sheet when in fact you had emailed them the mark sheet, you can go ahead and use the reports of O365 Manager Plus to figure out if emails were sent out or not. So these are all actual scenarios that our customers have mentioned before. So that's how, depending on the vertical your organization falls under, you can figure out how O365 Manager Plus is going to help you out. Let me switch to the product screen to quickly demonstrate this particular task to you. So for this, you need to go to the reports tab, and under the reports tab, there's a subcategory called mail traffic reports, and these are all reports that are going to help you out. So I told you that you can see the number of spam messages being sent and received in your organization, for which this report is going to help you out. Spam traffic summary. You can detect spam, you can detect malware using O365 Manager Plus. If you want specific user to user email activity, you can definitely monitor that using this particular tool. And I was talking about users claiming that they did not receive particular emails. So in order to figure those out, we have a whole category of reports called non-delivery reports, which are going to help you find out more details about emails that were not delivered to the intended recipients. But the report that we are right now looking for is just mail traffic summary, which is going to give you detailed insight into the email traffic in your organization. It shows you the date at which the email was sent or received, the date at which this information was culled. You can see when the amount of good mail that has come in, the amount of good mail that has gone out, spam mail in, spam mail out, malware in, and malware out. So these are all the kinds of information that you can view using this report. And as you can see, all the columns have been added here. So this is essentially all the information that you can receive from O365 Manager Plus about email traffic in your organization. And this report also has a graph at the top of the screen. So this information, this whole report with a lot of numbers, is summarized in the top of the screen. It shows you in in a clear cut graphical format, the number of events that were generated when it comes to each of these particular events, like malware in, malware out, good mail in, good mail out, and so on. And like every other report of O365 Manager Plus, this report can also be scheduled. Yeah, it's right here. This report can be scheduled, and it can also be exported in 4 different formats: CSV, PDF, XLS, and HTML. So the next time you want to keep an eye on the email trends in your organization, you can always use this report of O365 Manager Plus. The next report, or the next task that we are going to perform today, has to do with getting real-time alerts. So I'm going to show you how you can use O365 Manager Plus in order to receive instant alerts about service incidents. And I know what you're thinking. Doesn't the service health dashboard help with this? So here's what I think about the Office 365 Service Health Dashboard. So the SHD is going to allow admins to monitor Office 365 services for downtime, for incidents, for advisories, and a lot more. But there is one key problem with the SHD, which is that only system administrators can look at the SHD. And since your typical customer or your consumer is not going to be a system administrator, they cannot consult the SHD at all, and the SHD also does not have any email notifications or any way through which reports can be shared over email. And another thing is, there have been incidents where the SHD has lagged when it comes to notifying users about service outages. There has been significant lagging in the time that it takes for the SHD in giving alerts to users about service outages. And as more and more organizations are becoming dependent on cloud source services, you need to establish a proper setup so that you receive real-time notifications about service outages, which is where O365 Manager Plus comes in. So I'm going to switch to the product screen and show you how exactly this tool will immediately alert you as soon as there's a problem in any of the Office 365 services. So that's the scenario we are going to use now. I'm going to show you how you can configure an alert so that you receive a real-time email notification which says, hey, so this service is not working. Why don't you fix it? Right? So you can do that using our tool from ManageEngine. And here's how exactly you can do this. So you need to go to the admin tab, and under admin there's a category called monitoring configuration, and under that there's monitoring profiles. So this is all. So these are all by default being monitored in your organization. Federation is being monitored, Exchange OWA is being monitored, timely delivery, which we already looked at, your Azure rights management is being monitored. These are all things that are being monitored in your organization already, which means you can view the report for everything that's listed out here. But what you want is a real-time alert every time there's a service outage in your organization. And for that, let's look at this particular profile, which is called All Services Health. There's something called the configure button here. Click it, and it's going to allow me to enable a notification if an Office 365 service or an endpoint fails in my organization. So now that I've clicked enable notification, once I click save, I'm going to receive this email which says, hey, so this particular service is not working. So that's exactly what the message is going to do. This can actually be customized. You can enter the email ID which should receive the notification. What should the subject say? I'm going to say all services health alert, to add more shock value. Message, you can customize this message according to your needs. You can say some event has happened when it comes to your Office 365 services. Take a look into it. You can decide when you want to be notified. Do you want to be notified if there's an incident that happens, or do you want to be notified even if it is just an advisory, even if it is just a small problem that requires your attention? So you can choose that. I'm going to leave it at both because a service outage is no joking matter, and any kind of incident that happens with respect to service outages, I need to be notified about it. When do you want to be notified? Do you want to be notified with every occurrence? Do you want to be notified when it first occurs, or do you want to be notified just when it first and last occurs? So I'm going to leave it at every occurrence for demonstration purposes. You could also choose to include event details in the email so that you can take a quick look at the event log and figure out what exactly was going on. Now all that's left to do is click the save button, and once I've clicked the save button, it's going to be updated. The next time there is a service health failure in my organization, I am going to receive an email. How cool is that? That's how this product helps you out. It gives you an immediate real-time notification when there is a service outage in my organization, and you can always go back and edit the alert so that you can edit it depending on how you want. You can disable the notification if you don't want an alert for every occurrence. If you want it only for the first occurrence, you can edit it, and so on. So it's as simple as that. No more depending on the SHD, and let's face it, it can be pretty unreliable sometimes. So yeah, that's how this task is going to help you out. The next task for the day has to do with users' password status, and we are going to see how exactly you can use O365 Manager Plus in order to monitor your users' password status. So you need to enforce strict password policies by utilizing the reports that O365 Manager Plus has, which is why we are going to be looking at this particular topic for the day, because this tool O365 Manager Plus shows you a lot of details about users password statuses. For example, we have a report on never expiring passwords, and a report like this is going to be important because as an administrator, you know that users shouldn't actually be given never expiring passwords, because if they are given such a password, and if the user has saved such a password somewhere, it'll be very easy for their user account to be compromised, and you don't want that to happen in your organization, because if one account is compromised, it's just a matter of time before the gates of your network are thrown open to hackers, because they are always looking for some kind of vulnerability in every organization that is out there. And to avoid such attacks, you need to keep an eye on password status, because something as simple as passwords can lead to something as big as a security attack. And once you keep an eye on users' password status, you can see exactly what is going on with respect to users' password status, and you can enforce password policies based on the results that you find. So let me switch to the product screen and explain what exactly I mean here. So under the reports tab, that's where we're going to go. There's a category called Azure AD user reports. And there's an entire category of reports for password status. So you can view information about never expiring passwords, which is actually something that I spoke about. You can also look at users who've changed their passwords in recent times, users who haven't changed their passwords. If you want to look at the status of multi-factor authentication in your organization, you can look at that, and so on. So since I already spoke about never expiring passwords, let's look at that particular report. So this report shows you information such as the display name of the user, the UPN, the office of the user, phone number, if the user is licensed, and you can also add more information to this report such as block credentials, company, days since last password change, which is actually going to be pretty useful sometimes, the GUID, and so on. So these are all columns that you can add to the report by using the add or remove columns button right here. And another plus about this tool is that instead of just viewing the report, you can also manage users right from the reports that you look at. So if I'm taking a look at this, and if I'm like, hey, so this guy ADFS sub shouldn't actually have a password that never expires. I want to fix this for him. You can just click the user account, go to the manage drop down menu and click reset password. It's as simple as that. So in addition to resetting this user's password, you can modify his licenses, you can modify his multi-factor authentication settings, you can delete the user, you can set the manager attribute for the user, change the domain of the user, block the user or unblock the user. So these are all little tasks that you can perform in order to manage users right from the report that is generated. So it's as simple as that. So you can just select the user, go here, click reset password, and the password of the user can be changed. I want to give this user a random password. I don't want it to be a never expiring password. So for password never expires, I say false. And it's going to be as simple as that. I can go ahead and click apply, and that would be it, which is how you can exactly keep an eye on the password status of different users in your organization. The next task for the day has to do with shared mailboxes. We are going to see how you can track the shared mailboxes that send and receive the highest number of emails in an organization. So the shared mailbox is actually a very good addition to collaboration in an organization. It's going to help really well with collaboration in any kind of organization. Multiple users can access the shared mailbox to send and receive emails. It is very handy because that way multiple people can reply to customer queries from the common email address. But of course, if multiple people have access to one mailbox, it's necessary to keep tabs on who accesses it and when to keep your Office 365 environment secure. So, which is why you need one particular report from O365 Manager Plus, because this report is going to help you keep an eye on the inbound and outbound emails from your shared mailboxes. So this is going to help you out because you can keep an eye on the highly utilized shared mailboxes in your organization, and you can also view the trends in your organization. Users' productivity can be monitored, and you can also forecast the number of people who are needed to manage activities in your organization. So in order to look at this particular report, let's switch to the product screen, and under the reports tab, you have a category called the other Exchange reports. And under this category, there's a report right here called Top Your Shared Mailboxes, which is going to help you monitor the usage of shared mailboxes in your organization. It shows you the email address of the shared mailbox, the number of messages received by the shared mailbox, the number sent, and the total count of messages in the shared mailbox. So in addition to this, which is actually a pretty big report, the same information is also condensed in proper graphical format at the top right hand corner of the screen. So it shows you the name of the shared mailbox and the number of emails that have been sent in the shared mailbox. So that's how this particular report helps you out. So it's going to show you information about the shared mailboxes that have been used in your organization. Now, in addition to this, shared mailboxes, the access to shared mailboxes can also be tracked using O365 Manager Plus, and this is actually something that we already discussed in the previous sessions of this workshop series. So that's it for today's workshop. Let's have a quick recap about what exactly we saw in today's session. We saw how you can check if emails are delivered within a fixed threshold time. We saw how you can get a summary of email traffic in your organization. We saw how exactly you can set up a real-time alert so that you receive instant notifications about service outages. We saw how you can monitor your users' password status and also manage users right from the report that you are looking at. And finally, we saw how you can view the shared mailboxes that send and receive the highest number of emails. But I'm also going to quickly switch to the product screen because we may have seen these 5 tasks today. There's so much more that O365 Manager Plus does. Like if you take something as simple as monitoring, in addition to all that we saw, it also helps you monitor other services such as your Skype for Business, OneDrive for Business, and so on. You can monitor your CDNs of OneDrive for Business CDN, supportability, and so on. You can monitor your Azure Information Protection, Azure Rights Management, and so on. And there's also the other tabs that we looked at in the previous sessions of this workshop series. And now that we're talking, let me quickly open YouTube because that's where we actually have the recordings up for today's webinar. So all you need to do is go to ManageEngine AD Solutions account. And under the playlist, we are going to have, something to do with we are actually going to have playlists available where the previous recordings of this workshop series are going to be live. In addition to this, we also have several other tools whose workshops also you can check out from the playlists here. And if you see this right here, O365 Manager Plus online training series, this is the previous workshop of this previous workshop sessions of this workshop series. I'm also going to share the link to you guys, but now you know how exactly you can navigate to our workshop sessions. So keep an eye on your chat box because that's where I'm going to be posting our workshop sessions link. So you can take a look at this link, and we will also be reaching out to you with the recordings of the other webinars, and the recording of today's webinar will also be added to this particular playlist. And if you need anything else, if you want to take a look at any of the other products that ManageEngine provides and any of the other workshops of products from ManageEngine, you can always go to the playlist that I've mentioned before. We've been answering all the questions that you guys have been asking throughout tonight's session. And also, if you have any further questions that you did not ask during today's session, you can reach out to me at shruti@manageengine.com. If you want a demo of O365 Manager Plus that is actually customized to your needs, if there's any one particular report that you wanted us to cover but we did not cover in this session, you can always reach out to me and I can tell you, I can help you out with using O365 Manager Plus. I can guide you to the exact feature in the product that is going to help you address any problem that you may have in your Office 365 environment. And in addition to that, if you have a feature request and we don't have the feature yet in our product, you can always reach out to us and let us know about it, because we actually listen to our customers, and if you have any kind of suggestion whatsoever, we are always looking for ways to improve. So we we will immediately make sure that the particular feature is added to our tool. So that's how you can help us out. Thank you very much for attending all the sessions of this workshop series. I actually saw a number of people who attended every session of this workshop series, and that means a lot to us here at ManageEngine. I hope that you were able to gain something of value from today's session and from every other session of this workshop series. So thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedules to attend these short sessions. And thank you. I hope you have a great day today.